One of the biggest challenges that I run into, especially with new grads, is that there's so much pressure for you to figure out what you ultimately want to do. And you don't want to make a mistake. And so sometimes what that creates is just indecision in general. One of the most powerful things that you can understand today is that what you ultimately want to do is learned through all of the random jobs and things that you have along the way. I had no clue that I ultimately wanted to be a career coach. I had never even heard of a career coach when I was in school. I've always been okay with boundaries, but I've had to become very intentional about my boundaries. Now, boundaries are things like your work schedule, when you're in mommy mode, when you're in you mode. Have you begun considering when you're in those spaces intentionally? Everyone has access to you at any time. It can really drain you. You deserve to know what it feels like to do that for yourself versus someone giving you permission to do it. I would love for you to know what it feels like to enter a team and to say for yourself after 4 p.m. or 5 p.m., whatever your day ends, that you give yourself permission to not hop back online. If you stay too long in a toxic workplace, you begin to see certain things as normal that you have to unlearn. But it's good that you're open and transparent and even vulnerable. Your manager creates a safe space where you can have those conversations. That's good too. My biggest thing though is that I also am hopeful that you're taking that same blueprint on boundaries at work. You have to be at your best. And a part of that means making peace with the things that you may have to say no to. It really starts with understanding what your own personal mission is. So your own personal mission. So what do you want? In order for me to meet this mission, what do I have to give myself permission to do? And what do I have to make peace with? I want to know I want you to begin pondering what your mission is in one word. Two things are spinning in your ecosystem at once. One is that you now have this job. The second thing is that you want to exit the workplace. I want you to honor that feeling too. So if you know that you want to exit the workplace, then let's come up with a goal. When? Is it 12 months from now? Is it 18 months from now? So like we have to begin putting that in the ethos as well too. When do you want to exit the workplace? Like ideally, if you could fantasize about it, when would it be? Let's say, just for kicks and giggles, let's say it's in 18 months. And then you begin asking yourself, then I'd say, okay, go ahead and write your letter of resignation for 18 months from today. Look, let's put your money where your mouth is. Let's write that letter of resignation. Let's put it in an envelope and let's keep it on your desk on a regular basis, right? And then I want you to start asking yourself, what do I need and what can I gain today from this workplace, from the work that I'm doing today, that can better set me up 18 months from now when I leave? And so what then starts to happen is that you're able to, the list of things that you want to gain, you're now intentionally infusing it into your day-to-day work. And now it makes your day-to-day work become just a little more interesting because it's setting you up for what's next. If 18 months from now you want to go, an ideal situation is that you have work that you can do with the back of your, that you can do with ease. Because the work that you're doing with ease, you can save that intellectual energy to your outside work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're using all of your brain power for these new projects that really test you, then where is that energy going to be for the outside thing that you have to prepare yourself for? And you're still getting paid the same thing, whether you do this work or this work. The only difference is, where do you want the majority of your intellectual brain power to go? What's important about the ability to be a high performer is that deliverable gets done when it was committed to getting done. How you go about it doesn't have to be the way that they go about it. There are instances where the reason a manager could be getting to work sooner getting the work done sooner, even though it's delegated to you, is because they have an issue with how fast you're getting it done or how slowly you're getting it done. That could be a thing. But there are also many scenarios where it's the manager's problem. They just have an issue delegating. And even when they do finally delegate, they have an issue leaving it with somebody else. That's their issue. It doesn't mean that you're slow or you're not fast enough. It's there. So what you have to find out is it your problem or their problem? And I'll even use myself as an example. I have my own issues around how a final deliverable should look. So we do a lot of writing on my team, a lot of writing for newsletters. And there could be people on the team, there could be one person writing, they send it to another person to get them to check it off. And then when it comes to me, there's always going to be something that I'm going to tweak in it, always. And I have to share with my team that never mind that. If I'm telling you that this is a great article, this is a great article. That's my issue with the tweaking that I've got to work on. It isn't yours. Now, if I come back to you and say, this should have been differently, this should have been done, now that is your issue. But I know me, and so I have to be intentional about sharing with my team so that they never get in a situation like that on having to wonder on their end. I have to share with them intentionally that it's my issue and it's not theirs. They did a great job. And I think you need to find out if it's yours or his issue. Is when you're having a conversation with your manager, being able to say, when this happened, here was your behavior in it, and here's how it impacts me. So the other day, you gave me a project. You completed the project that you gave me. The impact to me is it makes me think that you completed it because you didn't think I could complete it or I didn't complete it fast enough. How can we get to a place where if you give me something, just let me keep it and let me give it back to you? Or I remember when I first entered the corporate training department, there was me and my manager was a trainer. So we're both trainers. She just happens to be my manager. When she first started training me, I thought that I had to show up exactly as she shows up. When she makes this joke or when she, does this with her hand, that I need to do it at the same times that she did it. But then what happened is I'd fumble through my whole presentation because it didn't feel authentic to me. The moment that I was like, forget this, I'm going to bring my Jennifer into all of this. And the moment I started doing that, I started feeling more confident. I started showing up more confidently. And I was still, so in the audience was still meeting their learning objectives. That's the goal. Are they learning what they're supposed to be learning? Yeah. It doesn't matter if I forget to do this or if I forget to make this joke over here. They're still learning.